Oh, nice. We are live, so we're going to have a great conversation. So let's get ready to rumble!
Hey. Come on in, let's go. Yeah! Let's go! All right, okay. Return to the Mac. Get up what it is, what it does, what it is, what it isn't. Looking for a better way to get up out of bed instead of getting on the internet and checking a new hit. Me get up, first shot, come strut walking. A little bit of humble, a little bit of cautious. Somewhere between like Rocky and Cosby's for the game. Nope, y'all can't copy yet. Glad moonwalking, and this here is our party. My posse's been on Broadway, and we did it all way. Chrome music, I shed my skin and put my bones into everything I record to it. And yeah, I'm on. Let that stage light go and shine on down. Got that Bob Barker suit game and Plinko in my style. Money, stay on my craft and stick around for those pounds. But I do that to pass the torch and put on for my town. Trust me, on my INDEPENDENT shit hustling. Chasing dreams since I was 14 with the 4-track bustin'. Halfway across that city with the back crush shit. Labels out here, now they can't tell me nothing. We give that to the people, spread it across the country. Labels out here, now they can't tell me nothing. We give it to the people, spread it across the country.
Here we go back, this is the moment, tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. Here we go back, this is the moment, tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us.
Nah, can I kick it? Thank you, yeah, I'm so damn grateful. I grew up really wanna go fronts, but that's what you get when Wu-Tang raised you. Y'all can't stop me, go hard like I got an 808 in my heartbeat. And I'm eating at the beat like it gave a little speed to a great white shark on Shark Week. Raw, time to go off, gone, deuces goodbye. I got a world to see, and my girl, she wanna see Rome. Caesar make you a believer, nah, I never ever did it for a throne. That validation comes from giving it back to the people. Now, sing this song and it goes like, raise those hands, this is our party. We came here to live life like nobody was watching. I got my city right behind me. If I fall, they got me. Learn from that failure, gain humility, and then we keep marching.
And we go back, this is the moment, tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. Go back, this is the moment, tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us.
So we put our hands up.
the Mac. Get up what it is, what it does, what it is, what it isn't. Looking for a better way to get up out of bed instead of getting on the internet and checking a new hit. Me get up, first shot, come strut walking. A little bit of humble, a little bit of cautious. Somewhere between like Rocky and Cosby's for the game. Nope, y'all can't copy yet. Bad moonwalking, and this here is our party. My posse's been on Broadway, and we did it always. Grown music, I shed my skin and put my bones into everything I record to it. And yeah, I'm on. Let that stage light go and shine on down. Got that Bob Barker suit game and Plinko in my style. Money, stay on my craft and stick around for those pounds. But I do that to pass the torch and put on for my town. Trust me, on my INDEPENDENT shit hustling. Chasing dreams since I was 14 with the 4-track bustin'. Halfway across that city with the back crush shit. Labels out here, now they can't tell me nothing. We give that to the people, spread it across the country. Labels out here, now they can't tell me nothing. We give it to the people, spread it across the country.
Here we go back. This is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over.
There we go. Welcome. Just here representing for the Grey Pill Podcast. I appreciate everybody for coming in. We're going to have a great conversation. We're going to do this in a two-parter, but I'm going to invite somebody first before I bring up everybody else for the conversation. So I want to give a special shout out for everybody who came in. Miss Sincere, this is pretty much where originated the conversation, so we're going to have that talk. Don, appreciate you like always. Cool Gamer, all day. Just Andrea, thank you. Madman, appreciate you. And New York Girl, thank you. And Agenda, thank you. All right, so how you doing, Just Andrea? So, all right, this conversation started in Miss Sincere's panel, and somehow the conversation came about co-parenting, and Just that came on, and she mentioned that she saw a interview with Kim Kardashian and Angie Martinez. Me personally, I can care less about anything goes on with Kim and her life and her family, but obviously something resonated with Jess, so she said, "Hey, this was relatable to me." I decided to go live to have the conversation, because co-parenting is hard, and I said, "Okay, cool." So the conversation got a little bit tense, but it was a conversation. And between her and another young woman said, "Hey, you know what? Go over there, listen to the stream, and we'll see where it goes from there." I said, "Okay, great. Let's have this conversation about the co-parenting, because I think on the platforms get like 10 some hours in or her in." And I said, "Well, let's have that conversation over here." And here we are. So this just respectful of Jess, because again, this was like I said, two part of this conversation is going to be a little bit of her past, transitioning and growing from that. If anybody wanted to see the full conversation, I left the link of her channel at the bottom, so you can see everything from beginning to end. It was very informative for somebody, especially a woman, to be that open, to be that transparent, to be that honest about herself, and to put it that to be that vulnerable, to be more comfortable, put it open like that, especially when it comes to YouTube. And we be in those spaces where people just take a grain of truth and would like to demonize you and literally jack up your character. So I applaud her for being that honest about it and that vulnerable. So thank you, Jess, about that. So I'm gonna bring everybody up here and we can have this conversation. How you doing, Miss TC? How you doing, Wes?
Hey,
Good evening.
how you doing, Grey Pill? Good to have you. Thanks
Happy
for having
holidays.
me.
Anytime.
Happy holiday.
Happy Kwanzaa, everybody.
Oh, yeah, I gotta get all out the way. Happy Kwanzaa.
My favorite day of the year.
Beat you.
Merry Christmas, Quantica.
Some people just don't get
Raw.
Hmm?
Hey, Raw.
Yes. Hey, baby.
What's going on, Queen?
Not much. Chilling. Grey Pill about to pop us. You see his face. He said be quiet.
It's a podcast. It's all good.
I know.
All right, so I'm gonna start with this question. So, what is co-parenting to y'all guys? And we'll start with Ra and go around. So, Robbie, what's your definition of co-parenting? What's your experiences with it?
Co-parenting is Dante's Inferno. Don't make that
Okay.
thing. Don't make
Okay.
that. I mean,
See Dante's Inferno. Like, how'd that come about?
because it's hell. Like you were a couple, you decided to have children. Now you're living in separate. You okay? I'm sorry, I have family here.
Okay. If you need time, we'll let Wes go, then we'll come back to you.
I know I'm back. I just had to check on my mama real quick. But you were a couple at one point. You were happy. You're in love. You had a child. You're raising the child together. You break up. Now you're living in different homes, and it stops being about the child, and it starts being about a power shift, a power struggle. Well, I have the child lives with me, so the child is going to do X, Y, and Z. Well, that's my child too, so the child's going to do this, that, and the third. I think Mrs. Doubtfire is one of the movies of my youth that highlighted the co-parenting struggle the best. Like, dude had to become a whole woman and become a nanny just to spend time with his kids. And he had to politely remind her that those are his damn kids too. And that's what the conversation often is when it comes right down to it. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Wes, your thoughts?
Well, I am. I've raised my two children on my own since they're both in diapers. I never had the advantage or curse of co-parenting. The other party just was not present. And I've seen a lot of other guys, especially in the military. There's a lot of single parents in the military. Apparently, they're all very, there's a lot of irresponsible people there. But I've seen where co-parenting works really great for the kid and works really great for the parents. But I've also seen where it's hell for the child and it's a weapon against weapon for the parents, where it's just an absolutely horrible situation. And unfortunately, that's more common than the positive side of it.
Miss TC.
So co-parenting for me, in my experience, personal experience, was my mother and my father co-parented. So I was with my mother and my biological father when I was with him during the holidays, my birthdays, whenever I wanted to see him. They did not have a problem with the co-parenting. And the interesting part, my mother had a friend, another male friend, and he was like my father as well. And my father, biological father, and my mother's friend were very peaceful, amicable people. So I played it like a kid would play it. Okay, I played my mother for gifts. I played my father for gifts. I played my mother's friend for gifts. I played everybody and grandpeople for gifts. I was in heaven, actually, to be perfectly honest. For birthdays, I got like 4 sets of gifts. For Christmas, 4 sets of gifts. I, I was I was great, but they were all amicable. So in essence, I know I'm being a little facetious, but they were all peaceful to each other. And the bottom line was making sure that I had what I needed. Did they fuss? They probably did. Did I see it? I'm going to say I did not. Because the one thing that was very prevalent when I was growing up was a child is to be seen and not heard. However, grown folk business is grown folk business, and you don't push that onto a child. So that's my experience.
Fair enough. All right, before we get to just classic likes, appreciate you, man, for coming through. Are you good? Your end sound like you're driving.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you good.
Okay, classic.
Hey, what's happening? Stay safe. So the people that's not familiar with class. Yeah, my name is CYTD, certified youth doctor. But I'm saying I can't have a good time. My brother right here, thank you for hosting the show tonight. You're not punctual at all, but I dig it.
You're breaking up just a little bit, classic.
I'm just saying to the people out there that listening, I thank y'all for coming and about to watch what class Dr. Classic Blake's about to put down. Our brother Gray Pill, he a great brother, but he's not punctual. But yeah, we can deal with it.
Okay, fair enough. Shout out to you. All right, so what's your thoughts on a co-parent, classic?
I think it can be a great thing if the parents like for example, the thing about co-parent is this really. Uh, if you and the father or mother separate, I don't think that y'all should hold that against the kid. That's what made co-parenting difficult. Because now I ain't about to send you over there with that nigga so he can have you up around his new bitch. Excuse my language, but it is what it is. I well, too, I can't even say that so much for the man because they never get the kid. And the mom always the co-parent because she fighting like hell to keep her kid because she know that nigga gonna find something else new and she don't want her baby around there. I think it's some both.
All right, so I appreciate you sharing that. I'm gonna go ahead, just mute yourself real quick, if you're not gonna say anything, because there was like some feedback. Or I don't know if you're driving. All right, so like I said earlier, just to add a little context to the two part of the conversation. So, just if you want to give your take on co-parenting.
Yes, co-parenting for me was a little difficult. And did I find it? I find it difficult. It was almost like a tug of war, and I didn't find it. I find it. It was very difficult for me to try to communicate, and I wasn't good at communicating. So I think that's why co-parenting for me was difficult. So I had to get some help to help me communicate better,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was a lot, a lot going on in our house. And, our kids was we got divorced. Our kids was like 3 and 2, and so my son doesn't even remember us living in the same house together. So it was difficult, and majority time it was my fault because it was difficult because I wasn't reasonable, and I couldn't. I was a little angry and a little mad at the time.
Okay. Uh, for me,
Hmm.
when I hear co-parenting, I hear mom and dad is separated. Um, you know, somebody had to make a decision. It's between either mom and dad or the court or the system to say, hey, um, who has either some divided time with the child, and at that point it becomes a struggle. Um, that's pretty much most of what I seen. It was a struggle. Mom and dad wasn't always together. More time with the mom than the dad, then more time with grandma than mom. That's pretty much how that went. Even that co-parenting, because sometimes you had the grandparents with the parents, they was co-parenting too. So that was a whole nother divide and division. No addition, just a lot of subtraction. Um, and that's pretty much why I get out of co-parenting from my experiences. Sometimes you have some good ones with the co-parenting. People already have a foundation, understanding, but it leads to something else. Now, it was something here that you said on your end, so I'll go ahead and clip this, show this, play this real quick. So 1 second.
I didn't care because I was like this. We had these kids together. I didn't give up on it, but I was like, we gonna make
All right, this when she paused. So give it a second.
I didn't give up on the. I didn't give up because the kids was living at him at the time. But that next year, my daughter moved back in the house with me, and at the end of the day, I tried the best I could with the co-parenting. But don't get me wrong, that shit was hard. It was hard for me. The days I cried about it, but at the same time, is I was like, look, I had these kids. These are their. This is their father, and I'm gonna try to come to do the best I can in the co-parenting, but that shit was hard. I am not gonna lie. Hey vegan girl, hey vegan, green vegan, how you doing? That
What
shit
was
was
hard
hard.
about it?
It was the most challenging thing in my life, and it was the most challenging thing because I had to co-parent with somebody who didn't see eye to eye with me. I had to co-parent with somebody who didn't
About
see
what?
things
See
that
how
I.
see
And so
how you about what?
I can understand where Kim is coming from. And then she said she had a good dad. She had wonderful memories. And then she said that it was things the kids be hearing, and she play his music even though she doesn't like some of it. You know, we always think people who have money may have it easy. She might have easy in financially wise, but that co-parenting, that hey Dolly, how you doing? Happy holiday. That co-parenting with somebody is stressful. It takes a toll on you, and you're arguing and then fighting. It's not easy for nobody. I don't care how much money you got. That shit is the most difficult part. And there's some days I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And, I felt like it was the most difficult and challenging thing. And then I think about, would I want my kids to not have their dad, or would I fight and argue with him to be a dad?
Um, Wes, now you said that you had I guess full custody of your kids from they was little. So can you relate to what just Andrea said, or you have a little bit different opinion? Because you mentioned money. So is it easier or more difficult if you had all the money in the world and still had custody of your kids, and your the kid's mother was still active? Uh, would it be more simpler?
Well, if I had a lot more money, yeah, things would be a lot more simpler.
Okay.
I'd be able to be more present for my children. It's difficult trying to pursue a career and be a parent at the same time if that's the only thing you're doing. Uh, so yeah, if I had won the lottery, things would have been a lot easier. I would have been able to provide what I wanted to do for my kids and spend a lot more time with them simultaneously.
What about UTC?
Um, what was the question, Great Bill?
She mentioned money, and she mentioned yeah, and the timing. So if you had all the money in the world and you had custody, would you find that it would still be more easier or difficult to co-parent?
Uh, I think it would definitely be more. It would be easier, and I think it's in. I agree with the gentleman when he talks about time. I think everyone wants to be able to spend uh, a certain amount of time with their children. Um, Teach them, to raise them, to train them, and to raise them, and to be able to afford certain things, to take them places and expose them to things so that they can get a particular type of experience as they're growing up, as they're reaching various benchmarks in their lives. So definitely I do think that money is an excellent thing to have more of it, but I do want to throw caution to the wind. Money, if your mentality is not right, then you will not do right by money either. So so I guess what I'm gonna do is say that I'm assuming that if in the event that the mentality is right, that the money, that having more money will definitely be a benefit. And I would say absolutely yes.
Fair enough. Classic. Your thoughts.
Uh, I disagree with Andrea. Yeah, I say you are a selfish person. I believe you're a selfish person, and I believe money can solve a lot of problems, but it can never solve that issue between a child, their mother, and their father. Not at all. I don't care what mom and daddy fighting over money. The kid in the middle of this shit, like what the hell going on? I thought y'all supposed to be loving each other, raising me how a parent should. My friends in school got both parents. Even they fighting, we think they playing. But y'all niggas talking about some money shit. They ain't got nothing to do with the kid. That's greediness. You don't want other people to say anything to your child because the dad decided to move on or however the situation may have been. That's selfishness. Money ain't got shit to do with nothing. Y'all gotta come to understanding that y'all can communicate with each other. Then money comes a part of the conversation. As long as y'all can't talk to each other, money should be the last thing you're talking about.
I disagree.
Yeah,
I,
disagree with the truth.
I disagree.
so here's the thing, right? How you gonna tell her she's selfish when she's out here being selfless and telling her story and speaking the truth?
Well,
See, a
if you
lot of
don't,
people jump on these panels. A lot of people jump on these panels and they just be saying reckless stuff to other human beings. That's her experience. That's what she's gone through in her life. Do you know this woman? Because I know this woman and I can tell you she's absolutely not a selfish person. In fact, she lends her home to other people's children and she takes care of kids that are not her own.
can
So
I ask
mind
you
your
a question?
manners.
Can I
Mind
ask
your
you a
manners.
question? Can I ask you a question,
If
T?
you can mind your manners, you can.
Nah. Even though you said she got a home, take care of other folks' kids, uh, uh, is she being rewarded for it?
Do she need to be rewarded for it? You
Nah,
know, like I
nah,
said, you
nah.
can
Say,
listen. You
answer the
can make
question. Say no
you.
bullshit and then act like ain't nothing happened.
Nah, she not actually being rewarded for it. But again, I know people in real life, honey. And if you're talking about the itty bitty
This
stipend,
is practical.
if you're talking
Take a
about
change the
the itty bitty stipend that the state provides to foster parents to love on and raise these children, no, she's not being rewarded in a fiduciary
She
capacity.
ain't. The hell is she ain't? That's the story she tell us.
Okay, is it? Well, guess what? You know what?
I'm not saying
Like
that
I
you're right
said,
about just hold on, GC. Let me tell you this stuff real quick. Make it
this is not TC, this is raw B. So let's get that clear. And just because you get
my bad.
just because you get financial assistance to take care of children, it is a selfless act because you still have to invest so much more. And time is more than money any
So,
day,
so, hey,
especially coming from somebody like you. Talk about somebody selfish when it comes down to talking about money. Don't disrespect nobody that way. Don't be
Hold on.
disrespectful.
Everybody get
Don't be
word in.
disrespectful.
you
Classic.
talk
Go.
to that should be understanding anything about life. My question is, if they say, will you take care of these kids for free? But do you think people will still be doing it like the lady you praised?
I don't really care nothing about what you're talking about. I'm talking about just Andrea. And what I'm telling you is the money that is given, is nowhere near the amount of money that she spends, the amount of time that she spends, the amount of love that she pours into them kids. You're not gonna sit there and disrespect this woman in my presence. You're not. You're not. You're not. You're not. You're not. You're not going to disrespect her that way. You're not.
How I disrespect her because you don't like the
Because you
truth?
just called her selfish, and she's not. That's disrespectful.
It's your business.
That is my business. How about that? That's my friend, so that's my business. How about that? How about that?
I want to answer his question because I'm not afraid. I want to answer his question. He want to call me selfish when I'm working 2 jobs. He want to call me selfish when I'm sleeping in my car because my son is out on the football field while he's practicing. And I work a graveyard shift. You want to call me selfish? I'm not selfish. I did anything for my children, and I don't appreciate.
What the hell you talking? You doing what the hell adults do? What the fuck? There ain't no praise. You want praise?
It takes 2 to raise kids. It takes 2.
It doesn't matter. You want praise for doing what a parent's supposed to do. Responsibility. Lady, get a life. You don't think so highly of yourself. And if any woman,
I think highly of myself when I have 2 grown kids who never get into jail, like criminal, good people. They're good people.
Please get it out.
And the last time I checked, I help take their community too. I do foster care. I've been doing it for 20 years. So I take highly of myself. I take other people's kids in when they're not even taking care of their own kids. I take damn highly of myself.
Are you doing it for free?
It don't matter. I still
she's doing what adults do, but you're gonna sit there and say she's doing what adults do, and she think highly of herself, and then keep talking about stuff. Is she doing it for free? It doesn't matter. Money doesn't matter. She's doing it for free. So shut your ass up, stupid.
All right, time out. Hold on, Classic.
You need to see Classic, lady. Who don't even know who the hell you are. I don't even know why Great Pill. He didn't even tell me who was all coming. You like a boat. You like one of them evil ass gnats. Yeah, that's what you are. You a gnat.
Classic. Classic. Don't do that over here, bro. Don't come over here with that particular attitude that you have and that immaturity. And this is disrespectful. You're not supposed to be talking like that. You don't know anybody. But the bottom line is that you can get on the panel if you're a mature individual and you can have an amicable conversation about a situation. If you looked at the video, if you understood anything about understood anything about the subject. If you don't, then you don't have to be here. That's okay. But don't come in here disrespecting Raw B. Don't disrespect Andrea, because those 2 sisters didn't do anything to you, and you're gonna call them evil and things of that nature. I don't know who did what to you in your life, but guess what? I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. Maybe they did it for a good damn reason, because you act like an evil ass Satan, the devil, the demon that you are, because you talk to people in a particular manner that you don't even know. It is disrespectful. You're not going to do it. You're definitely not going to do it in my presence. You're not going to do it to these 2 sisters, and you're not going to ever do it again. And I'm going to tell you another thing. If you do it anymore, you are not going to benefit. You're not going to fare well, bro. You're going to reap havoc. Don't do it.
So now you're threatening.
Don't do it, Classic. It is not to your benefit. You get up here and you apologize to those 2 ladies. You understand me? You apologize to them. You apologize. You understand? Just because somebody didn't apologize to you, you apologize to them. That's how we roll.
All right, hold on.
Like everybody.
Hey, Chef.
I'm gonna tell. Hey, I'm gonna tell the truth. I'm gonna tell the truth and not give a damn about it. I ain't apologizing for shit. Do what you do while you're threatening me. So-called black woman, that's for the black man. Why you sending threats out there? Classic, never disrespecting one person here, yeah.
You did. You did. You disrespected both of the sisters.
I like to extend peace, love, and light.
Man, fuck all that shit.
Classic. I'd like to extend peace, love, and light to everybody out here, everybody on the panel, everybody in the chat, right? So I came in, and when I came in, I heard Andrea talking, I heard someone else talking.
I'm the one that created this shit. Everybody talking what they want to say to me, but the host of the show cut. Hey, sincere, like I told you, this was bad business.
Oh, okay. I was just asking you. I was about to ask you a question.
Calm down. What for a second? Maybe I can have a chance to speak for now.
You telling me you asking me to calm down? I'm in a calm voice, fam.
I don't even.
I'm
Chef,
calm
just
right
let
now.
him. Chef, let him rock. Let him rock. Cause
Okay, he feels
he's
attacked.
the
I
man. He's the
understand.
man.
All
Let
right.
him be God. He created this.
Hey, anyhow, to the Cape holders, I'm the
Oh, that's
reason.
me. I'm a cape holder.
Hold
I'm, I'm,
on, hold
I
on,
came in.
Classic.
I came in nice with peace, love, and
Chef,
light.
chef,
But you
chef,
talking
chef,
that
chef,
cape holder
chef,
shit?
chef,
All
chef,
right, my
chef.
bad, my bad, my bad.
No,
Go
you're,
ahead.
you're good.
Go
Hold
ahead.
on,
Go
Classic.
ahead. Go ahead.
Classic, go ahead. Go ahead, Classic.
once again, I'm the reason why this show tonight exists, and this the respect I get. What the hell y'all talking about? I ain't said nothing disrespectful. TC, positive woman that's sending threats on the low. You know, and just because you don't like what I say to these people, take a listen to what the fuck I said to the person that you want to defend, and then when you come up with that answer classy and say nothing wrong, just the way you said it to her. She being disrespected more than that by people that really don't give a damn about it, TC, and you not there to say. So why the fuck you threatening me?
All right. So with that being said, so this is how we're gonna do it, right? So everybody has a point to their opinion. We're reacting to what just Andrea said. Um, and again, this is from her past. This is not from her present. And
A question, really quick, Great Pill.
We didn't even get on that topic yet. We talked about some bullshit that mean nothing.
okay,
Well,
well,
anyway,
hold time out. Okay, well, if it doesn't mean anything, then we
Hey,
can
girl,
continue.
I do get to tell her I watched the show and how I critiqued if I liked it or not. We talking about some other shit because some people I ain't even know was gonna be here. They talking about what they want to talk about. If that's the case,
It's not what they hold on. Yeah, but classic. It's not what they want to talk about. I don't know if you was here in the beginning when I started. I said this is how we're gonna have the conversation. We're gonna address because that's pretty much the whole conversation was. It basically was like a two-parter. It was the interview for Kim and just experiences from it and from her past. So that's what we're addressing and having a conversation about.
because I mean, I'm confused, Great Pill. I thought you was reacting to just Andrea. So
So
just Andrea
yeah, that's what we
being here
yes. Yeah,
and
that's it. And then we're
right.
going to move on. We're going to touch bases on that based on her experiences, and hopefully it brings some more awareness to other women out there. And then we're going to dive in onto the whole Kim shenanigans because me personally, I can care less about Kim, but the real story is just Andrea's experience, so everybody else can learn from it.
Facts.
Oh, okay, I just wanted to
Facts.
get clarity because Classic said he created this. He's the originator, none greater. And I could have swore we were on the Great Pill podcast, and I could have swore we were reacting to just Andrea.
don't lie on me. Say what I said. Don't lie on me.
That's what you said. So you said you created this, you the reason behind this, and you're not the reason behind Great Pill.
The shit you said. I ain't say
All right,
all that.
so,
But
so,
I'm
But
all right,
that's what you
so
said. Maybe you're
okay, so
high.
moving,
Are you
all right,
drinking
so
lean?
okay,
Are you
again,
on
so
Percocets and Molly's?
again, so moving forward. Hold on,
Hey, no,
time.
let us slander me. Let us slander me.
No, because this is not Robbie's show. This is not the other spaces out there. This is Graver Podcast. So again, we got to move forward with the conversation because I'm not going to make it a 3 hour thing. Again, so if we can do that, I'm fine with it. But if we can't, somebody just feeling their feelings. So are we good with that? I'm going around the board. Everybody good with moving forward with the conversation?
Hell yeah.
I sure am.
All right,
I
cool.
just wanted to
So
know what we were
all
doing.
right, so I should have to do like
Hey,
time out. I should have to do it like high school, elementary. No name calling. That's one rule. I didn't know how to make up that rule. No name calling.
yeah, tell that grown lady quit sending threats.
That's everybody. That's everybody. That's everybody. So we're moving on. So again, if you get muted, it's a reason for that. I'm moderating the conversation. It's more than what I deal with on a panel. So if I get you muted, it's a reason. Don't unmute yourself. I'm gonna make sure everybody get the equal time with conversation. I promise you.
Hey,
So
that's a though. You just lied to me, partner. A lady got on here, disrespected me, told me what I was saying to another person is wrong.
okay,
When
we
they
got all that. We're not gonna go back. We're not gonna go back on that. We good. Everybody moving forward with that.
about
Yeah,
time,
I heard what you said. We're moving forward with that. We're not going back on that. We're not going back on that.
disrespected me, and I can't even speak. And I'm
Yeah,
the
but
reason.
we're moving. Yeah, we're moving forward with that. So again, so we're gonna go back to the reaction. Everybody addressed it. We're gonna move forward with the next one.
Hey, JC, I forgive.
gonna lie, I had a will fight. I was like, I don't care. This nigga had kids with me. We gonna rock this out if it kills either one of us. Okay,
Right.
that's how I felt.
Selfish.
I
That's
did
how
cry.
that's
We had kids together. We gonna rock this out until these kids turn 18, whether it kills both of us.
So
Mhm.
selfish behavior, like I say.
appreciate your forethought and how you feel about it, and you're speaking to some real inherent difficulties within co-parenting separately, because when you're still married together, you guys are still co-parenting. It's a
Yes.
unit. It's a
Yes.
well choreographed dance if you guys do it right.
Yes.
Okay. The point is, though, that's why failure is something that you don't want. No one wants to take an L. Everyone wants the most optimal situation. So if you and he are functioning at a high level of resonance, and you guys are in tune and in sync as parents in the household,
Mhm.
then what's going to happen is you're going to have a better opportunity for those kids. You're going to have a unified front. They're not going to understand when mommy and daddy is arguing. It's going to be way different.
Mhm.
You know, they won't know when mommy and daddy disagree. They just know that mommy and daddy agreed on a particular thing and they're standing on it. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of that dance of marriage, you know, of living a lifelong partnership with someone, right? But
Yes.
here's the other side. Here's the other side. That's why when you guys are getting to a point where it's not working,
Mhm.
you have to fight harder to make it work, because you understand the loss, the decimation, the scorched earth, that divorce and co-parenting when you're not happy with each other, you know, what it can cause.
Yes.
So at some point, what we need to take a look at is, what are the things that made them stay together? What are the things that made them not be together?
Why am I here?
And whose choice it was? That plays a big part.
Okay.
Whose choice it was. We could start from the whose choice it was, right? And why I say the whose choice it was. Watch this. I'm gonna throw a dynamic at you.
Okay.
If there's you dealing with Johnny, and you and Johnny have 2 kids, and Johnny ended up leaving you for Jenny down the block.
Mhm.
After that long relationship you had, and he left, and he knows he did you dirty.
Mhm.
He knows that more than likely it's going to be hard to expect any friendliness, love, or cooperation from you. So if you decided to be a great co-parent, he would look at it as a gift, because he knows, damn, he deserved the worst of your temperament. You follow?
Yes.
So he would be happy with the co-parenting and appreciate it. But now, watch this.
Mhm.
If you left him and you kicked him out, and say you was tired of his shit, or he wasn't doing anything, but you found somebody else, right?
Mhm.
And he did not want to leave. Remember the first dynamic, he left you. He didn't want to leave, but you ended it, right?
Right.
Do you think now that you could even come with the same offer as you came as if he left you, but he may tell you F you, because he's still having to deal with the emotional baggage from that separation. You follow?
Okay.
And we have to admit it's different when the man doesn't want to leave. Men have been known to stay in loveless marriages and non-sexualized marriages for a long period of time. Society has taught men that's what you're supposed to do. So imagine a man not wanting to lose his family. Of course it's going to be more difficult, because he feels present. He didn't leave. He wants to be present. He did not leave. So it plays a major part. So that's why I was going to use the other dynamic first, but I said, let me jump to this one, because she's crying like a victim. when she participated within her own demise. That's my humble opinion.
All right, so here's my question. So does it matter? Does it plays a part that Chef said? And we'll let Chef chime in last since he actually initiated that perspective when he came in. So if you initiate the breakup or the separation or the divorce, are you the bad guy? And do you agree to what Chef was saying about when it comes to marriage? It's like a dance, like everything's not 50-50, everything's not 100-100. Sometimes it's a 70-30, 80-20, 60-40 split. Wes.
I'll agree with him. I was someone that was content being happily miserable for the rest of my life when I was married. I was accepting that. I was thinking, well, this is just what things are going to be. What changed for me is when I realized, well, I don't want my children growing up this way. This isn't going to be good for them. And that's when I started progressing forward. But I've met plenty of men. I've met men at closer towards the ends of their lives where they've spent like 60 years in a marriage that they hated. I've dealt with a lot of married couples that obviously didn't like each other and haven't liked each other for at least 45 years or something. So there is that expectation. I think there's an older expectation of just staying together, even though if you don't like each other. I do know that men do have a pressure of staying in a marriage because most of the time it's the women that are going to they're going to file for divorce, and I don't think it always makes them. I don't think it automatically makes them the enemy in the matter. If we take it by a case by case basis, I think more often than not, it would be the woman just saying, "Well, I want to do something else," and not really wanting to be present in the marriage. However, also, like I said, taking it by case basis, there's going to be women doing it simply because they're like, well, this is not the right place for me or my children. I need to get them in a better situation. It's just someone waking up and realize, well, maybe they're in a miserable situation and they're with someone that's never going to try and be better as a person. All right, you're muted.
Sorry about that. TC,
yeah, I was wondering what was going on with that awkward pause, and I realized,
I thought it was a powerful mic drop, family.
I started thinking, oh crap, was there a third part of that question?
What I'm not gonna do is say whose fault it was, the wife or the husband. There are circumstances that definitely warrant done. There are circumstances where I think things can be worked out. There are circumstances where people do stay in misery.
Mm-hmm.
The latter is never a good reason. Don't use the children to stay in the relationship. Don't do that, because it is worse for them. What they see, that toxicity, the resentment, the buildup, is very, very bad.
Okay, so what about the part Chef mentioned earlier about the relationship being a dance? My perspective is everything's not 50-50. Heck, it's not even I give 100, you give 100 TC. Sometimes you might have give 80, I'll give 20, or it be 70-30, or it be 60-40.
Yes. Absolutely. And here's the thing. I don't know who told somebody that at every turn in a marriage, a relationship, courting, and then the marriage, that everything is going to be 100. I don't know who said that. I don't remember that in the book, in the playbook. What I do know is that in life, that there are going to be circumstances where that I'm going to be giving, because I've seen it in my parents' relationship with my mother and her friend. He was absolutely amazing. He gave 1,000, and as my mother's finishing up school, nursing school, she was able to do so. At the end, towards the time that he was expiring, my mother had to take care of everything. You see how life works. You see,
Yeah.
but she stood there and we stayed there. We weren't going anywhere because you don't do that. You see, just like he stayed with us, he made sure my mother excelled. He made sure I went to college. He made sure we were provided for, we were safe. So and things of that nature. So I don't believe in that. I do believe that it's nice if somebody can give 100 and 100, but if somebody gives 80 and the other gives 20, and that's what they can give. Okay, that's what they have for right now. But if it and let them, and as time goes on, I guarantee, I'm very certain of this, that the tide will turn, that it won't be the same. So stop. We need to stop fussing. Oh, they didn't give this, like little kids. Oh, she got two of mine. I need two too. No, no, leave that crap alone. Sometimes it's just not going to be fair, and life is not always fair, and we just need to grow up and put big boy drawers on and big girl panties on and go about our business and stop crybabying like we don't know what the heck is going on.
Fair enough. Robbie?
I feel like this. Honestly, if marriage or love has to be a competition, I simply don't want it. It's supposed to be where you're building together. Everybody should be giving 100% every day, their very best efforts in a family unit. And I think that some people are phenomenally toxic together. And you have some people that are energy vampires, right? They'll
Mm-hmm.
suck the life out of the family, out of the room, out of the person. And when people separate, they start getting back to who they really are. And I think sometimes during that restoration process, people get in their feelings, because if somebody has the ability to really restore themselves fully and get back to growing and prospering and thriving, and the other person is unable to restore themselves because they kind of needed one person to shore them up, to make them feel okay, to handle certain aspects of life for them, it becomes this space of resentment. And the only people that are really affected are the children. So at the end of the day, co-parenting is really tough, because if you're in that type of situation where someone is a succubus and the other person is an empath and is pouring everything into the family, it's kind of hard to maintain a space of sanity. So shout out to you, Wes. I don't really know what your situation is, you know what I'm saying, with your ex-wife, but shout out to you for pouring into your children, and raising them. It's really hard to do alone. Shout out to everybody that's raising their children alone or is having a difficult co-parenting situation. It takes a lot because you don't even get a break. So you literally have to be regenerative in your sleep. In your sleep is the only time you get to rebuild, to push forward the next day.
Yeah,
And
even then, you might bring that stress onto you, and that might help you. But you wake up like instantly wake up like I got to deal with this again.
right, so those are the strongest people, because no matter what, they might wake up like that, but they plaster a smile on and they push through the day, which means they're giving more than 100%.
All right, there was something. There was something TC said, and I want to ask you. We could go around real quick, and we'll play the next one. Uh, when we talk about the 50-50, 70-30, 60-40 split, the 100-100, it's just magical. And me and you married, right? Now,
Mhm.
I might be all I can give is 20, and you is like you said, pouring in is 80%. Now, is there a time limit on that for you? And same thing for you, TC. Is that a time limit?
So for me, it goes like this: everybody is going to fall. If you're sick, if you're going through a depression, you've just lost a family member, maybe something happened at work, and you need a moment to reset.
What about a
I
career
have,
though?
yeah, that's what I say. If you like, you know what I'm saying, if you have a situation at work and you need to reset for a moment,
Hmm.
I have capacity to give 150%. But in that spirit of downtroddenness, you can't just be like, I quit and laying out on the floor like a slug. You got to be given something. It really depends on the energy that you're putting out. Because some people use pitfalls in life as an excuse to lay in the bed all day. And some people use them as a catalyst to build greatness. Does that make sense?
To me, I hear you. TC, is there a time limit for
Yeah,
you?
I echo the same sentiments as just as Raw B. I guess it's a spoken, unspoken, but depending on the situation, depending on how the person is handling the situation, and depending on how they're dealing with it, how we're dealing with the situation, um, I look forward to a reset for them in time. Pray to get family that prays together stays together. All those cliches do mean something to me. Um, I will say that I have been in a situation where I was working and um, my queen was not, and that must have been for about a year, and there were circumstances that surrounded that situation, and I understood it. And was I going to just leave? Absolutely not.
Okay.
No,
Um,
no, I would not. But
uh,
I'm just saying that some people would, because some people don't have the tenacity. They don't have that thing to stick it out with each other.
yeah,
No,
because marriage is work. Heck, any real committed, exclusive relationship is work, right?
it
Um,
is. It
and
is.
And just to add context to what you said earlier, that's why I'm kind of glad I pivot back around to you, because I can't remember her name, but she's a she she wasn't famous. She just always did her own little thing on YouTube. She's famous. She always make healthy, natural foods. Protein, instead of eating meat, she eat substituted for protein. And she has a husband. The story is that she has a husband that's a cop. There's a very, very dangerous career. And when she got famous instantly through social media, with Facebook and then Instagram, and then people started picking her up. What she did was she actually took her husband off those streets, meaning from that career job, because he was holding her down. So it was basically at that, I give 100, you give 100. So what happened was, every money she had, she took him off the street. She took care of him financially, because his dream
Hmm.
was, hey, I wanted to go to school to do something. Now, I can't remember the other woman name, because she's a radio talk show. She always like, "How you doing?" Her, so she made a negative comment in the out in public saying, "Hey, that's not a cool thing to do. The man's supposed to be the working man. He's supposed to be the provider." So she did a great speech saying, "Hey, you know what? I can see you. I can see the devil on you. I can see you trying to plant those little toxic, negative seeds on my end. That's not going to work that way. What me and my husband have is a plan moving forward."
That
If
was
you,
Wendy Williams.
yes, thank you, Wendy Williams. Now,
Yeah,
even
that was
other
Wendy
women,
Williams.
yes.
I actually know her and her husband,
Now,
Kevin Hunter, or
do
her
you know the
ex-husband.
do you know
Yes,
the
and
first person I'm talking about?
you, the person that I know that you were talking about in terms of within this dynamic, one of them was Wendy Williams. When you're
Yes,
talking about how you doing, right?
yes.
So I was a record executive at Epic Records. I have several Grammys under my belt, you know, and I became a record executive at an early age. I knew Wendy, I knew Kevin. Kevin handled security at some of the best clubs in New York. And at the end of the day, she and him got together. Wendy had a certain way about her.
Yeah.
And Kevin had a certain way about him. But the thing is, he kept her safe. There was a couple of situations where I wouldn't come out because I'm still the industry head. I wouldn't come out and say, but some people don't understand what he gave to her. You know, I'll be honest with you, if I was Kevin Hunter, more than likely I would have left her, and I would have been the guy that left her prior to her becoming so famous and so popular, because of me understanding the depths of her trauma, as well as how she moves. But sometimes people have a tendency to base the way they project how they view people and how they view themselves
Yeah, and
onto the other people that they're looking at.
Yeah, and that was Wendy Williams. And thank you. Wendy Williams was speaking of Tabitha Brown, because Tabitha Brown was the one that had said, "Hey, I'm gonna take care of my husband financially as long as he needs it, and then from there, when he gets to that point, then we're all good." That's where I said that 70-30, that 80-20, that TC was bringing it to up into like if we're good. Sometimes you're gonna trip, like Robbie says. Sometimes you're gonna get sick. Sometimes something happened. Heck, they both was actively working. Nothing was wrong with them. But she said, "Hey, I know my husband was doing all this for me. I see the dangers and the stuff that he's doing. Now I'm on the come up. I'm gonna go help my husband out. Why I'm gonna still let him be out in the streets, being in a dangerous career? He might get hurt. He might. Heck, we know somebody famous too, and he became a successful YouTuber. The real Nathan Daniels. You know, he was a cop up there. His career was him to serve and protect to the point where he's actually
Nathan Daly. Yeah,
yes.
That's one of my boys.
He literally risked his life. He literally risked his life.
There's a video out there.
Yes. So there you go. Anybody got to add before I play the next one?
I just want to drop. Because I didn't really get a chance to say too much, you know. So let's call this make believe. And Classic, if you out there, just please listen to what I'm saying, my family. If you listen to what Andre was saying, and if you actually watch the whole 2 hour and 20-some minute stream, what you'll understand is that she's speaking to two separate Andreas. She's speaking to the 20-something-year-old Andrea, who had the flightiness of a young woman that was raised within the church, only been with one man. And she was 100% honest about what she did. And she took accountability. That show, I literally hit her up and I told her, I said, yo, this is truly your defining moment. You told the truths that a lot of sisters would never freaking tell. I told her there's brothers out there that experienced the let's say the emotional violence that you might have placed upon your ex-husband, that experienced it and nobody believed them, and they were sitting there pumping their fists in the air with tears in their eyes saying, yes, I told y'all. So when Classic states that he doesn't know what this is about, what that was about, it's interesting because I could remember seeing him in the chat for that actual live stream, right? But I'll leave that piece alone.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. I'm pretty I don't know if anybody follows, I don't know if anybody follows Red Lipstick. I think me and her formula is pretty much the same. You know, I can just throw a live up there and just run my mouth for 5 minutes. Like everybody's gonna get it. But what I like about me and Red Lipstick is we tell a story. So if it just give some clarity for Classic. If he gets jumpy, minus the name calling, but if he gets jumpy and the chats get a little bit excited to it, that's great. It's fine. But if you stick around just long enough, like I did with just Andrea's story, because I was in a moment, and what I told her exactly was, how you watch a TV and the show or the movie be so interesting, you be stuck on it. You have a villain at first, then you have a bad guy, then you have a hero, then you pointing people out and already selecting who they are until you actually get to the climax, into the whole plot twist.
Yes,
everything going on. Then at that moment, you be like, okay, Now, who's really the hero? Because in the beginning, you already pegged the villain. So that's pretty much how me and Red Lipstick, when we tell our story on here, we just don't go straight to the meat and bones of stuff. Anybody can do that. Anybody can do that. I could sit here and just talk crap about one person because guess what? I'm giving my perspective. But that's not what I do here on the Great Pill Podcast. It's similar to Red Lipsticks. You know, I like everybody to give their perspective. Again, without the name calling, because I don't do that here. You know, nobody's here dumb. Nobody here stupid. So that's it. So at anything moments like that, if y'all want to address that on a at the ending of final thoughts, great. But again, this is pretty much a solution based. This is bringing awareness. Just a moment in time. If any woman, any man can relate to something, say, "Hey, this what I see in my life. I know somebody like this. This is the story right here that need to be shared." That's it. So with that, I'll add the next one.
I if I had to know, if I had to know what I know now, I might have made my marriage work, okay? Because I did not know in the co-parenting how difficult that shit is. And I come from a two-parent home. So I did not understand what it is to have separate houses. And I always have, it was always mama and daddy in the house with me. So it became difficult for me um to to um to share, to negotiate. I had to become a negotiator. I had to share. I had to compromise. And at times, I felt like I can be violent to the father of my children because I cannot get him to be on the same page as me. And that's the honest truth.
You may need to send that link. You may need to send that link.
That was a good one. All right, so we talking about two parents home because we already know in them YouTube streets, right? In social media, not in the real world, in social media dealing with YouTube, they say the main component, the perfect key to a successful upbringing of the nuclear family, especially when it comes to your children, you got to have the two-parent household. Uh, I believe Wes was an advocate of two-parent household at one time.
I still am.
Still am. Okay. Just Andrea just mentioned, hey, I my parent, and I'll ask you just like if you want to dive in deeper on just a little touch bases a little bit on your parents dynamic, like was they church folks? Was they the CEOs of a massive corporation?
my mom and dad was in the church, but my dad was a carpenter, and we had to go to work with him after school. So I spent a lot of time with my dad after school. I had to vacuum the floors because he put down carpet. So I did have my dad. I did see my dad a lot, but it was 7 kids in the house, and my mom was a stay-home mom.
Okay, so that's kind of like the perfect recipe that a lot of people say in the YouTube streets. It's like, hey, you said your dad was very close to you. He was, he was the head figure. He was the leader, and somehow, some way, at that moment in time, right now we're speaking of, you said, hey, I lost my way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I wasn't used to. Excuse me. I wasn't used to sharing. I used to my mom and dad, a 1-parent home. Everybody all under the same roof. So when I got divorced, it was something new for me. You got to share. You got to negotiate. You disagree. That was a lot. And like I ain't never seen that. And everybody who I was my mom's friends, they was all still married to their husbands. My cousins, them I grew up with, they was all still married to their husbands and wives for like 50 some years. I never knew divorce until I got divorced, and then I started meeting some friends who got divorced, and then we started, the argument, the fighting, and the co-parenting, and the kids acting up at your house, the kids are gaslighting me, we ain't agreeing on the same thing. That was all new, and I didn't communicate well either. So that was a problem too.
Ra, 2-parent household. Your thoughts on that? Because I know you be, for me, you're like a little baby iconic for me. You be on a lot of platforms. You actually hold down a lot of debates with a lot of top creators, and you be in certain spaces where a lot of the conversation is relationship based. So, what do you feel about the whole two parent household dynamic that a lot of people speak on?
I think that two parent households are necessary.
Mm,
Children absolutely need a balance. I think it's unfortunate when people have to raise their children in single family households. I mean, you're going to get it done because life goes on and it happens. But for the best optimal outcome, you need both energies. This is why so many people are very egocentric.
mm,
They lack introspection. They don't really know how to communicate well with others or interact in group dynamics. They don't know how to receive the opposite sex because they're not seeing that on a consistent basis in their homes. But for my family, I had both my parents until I was 8, and my father passed away, so my mother had no choice but to raise me on her own, and she did a phenomenal job. But we also grew up in the church. My grandmother was a holiness minister. I've been in church since I was 4 years old, and I've always had good, ethical men around me, men of high moral value. So, you know, there's that.
fair enough. Miss TC, two parent household.
Two parent household. So yes, but I want to I want to address something that you said, and I want to make sure I understood it. Let me just put it that way.
Mhm.
Are we saying are are we saying that two parent households make successful only make successful children?
That's what I hear a lot of these talking points in social media dealing with YouTube, and I
Oh,
also hear statistics say, I'm quoting a lot. Statistics say a two-parent household, especially the nuclear family, what works. And from what I'm seeing, even though it may be one, but I've seen also that it's not 100% true.
okay. So I'm glad that I asked the question because I wanted to make sure that I was clear.
Okay.
And again, thank you, Gray Pill, and everyone here. One of the things that we have to have is mature discourse, and in having mature discourse, we have to ask each other, because I know if I don't understand something, I will definitely make sure I get a better understanding. So here's what I say: I support 150% two parent households. I will say this: I do not agree that only two parent households will create only successful children. Well, that only two parent households create successful children. That is absolutely not true.
Okay.
There have been, of course, there are many single parent households that have created very successful children. And there have been two parent households that created crud ass children. Okay. Um, so two parent households, it's easier if the two parents that have a healthy relationship, they themselves are healthy and not toxic, and are mature enough to handle the ups and downs of their own personal, of their own professional, of their relationship, so that children don't get in and manipulate the parents. That happens too.
Fair enough. Wes, your thoughts, sir?
Uh, a two parent, a loving two parent household is the best case scenario.
I think you should have put quotes in the first one. Loving.
Loving. So there's those two parent households where people are together simply because they want to stay together for the kids, but it's a horrible environment for the child to grow up in, because there's nothing but hatred in that house. Through the best of intentions, there's a greater occurrence of children raised in two-parent households that become successful later on in life as they become adults, and how we define successful. And that's one of those terms that gets bounced back and forth a lot. So I'm going to say successful as in happy, not 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 a criminal, not doing bankruptcy 5 times in their lives, not having children with multiple people, throughout a span of 10 to 15 years. Successful meaning a happy person that eventually finds someone that recreates that loving household that they grew up in. There's a greater occurrence of this happening with children raised in a loving two-parent household. And it is difficult for children to grow up in a single-parent household. I can see this with my children. I have 2 daughters, but I am the oldest of 4 boys. There's a lot of things there that I've had to learn about girls. It's not been easy. And there's still a lot of things that I just cannot not close the gap on in understanding. So this is very difficult for me to try and get this across to my girls and help them be young ladies. It's just beyond me, but I try. So they're going to have their certain challenges because, as someone pointed out earlier, they're not sure how to interact. They're not going to be sure how to interact with other males. They're not sure how they're supposed to act in a relationship because they haven't seen me in too many relationships. The very few relationships they've seen me in have not been good.
The women been playing in your face, Wes. They've been treating you bad.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy women out there.
Was they in California, sir?
Hold on. I left California quite some time ago. Here's the thing about crazy women. They're not all in California. If all the crazy women would just go to California, I'd be so much happier. And then let the big one hit and just let it all sink. off into the ocean.
Fair enough.
I have some great
Just hold back, Wes. Just hold back, man.
We don't need San Francisco anyway. Finally wash out those streets. Those things are getting nasty out there.
Shout out to LA. Go ahead, Jess.
I believe in a 2-parent home. Don't get me wrong, and I advocate that. But at the same time, I have 2 beautiful children. My son is 23, and my daughter gonna be 25 in the next couple weeks. They are good people. The good, the bad, and ugly, even though me and their dad went through it, they're still good human people. There's still kindness. They're still vibrant. They still did everything. And yes, it was difficult. Yes, it was hard. But at the test of times, he was still their hero, and he's still their hero to right now. And so I still believe in a 2-parent home, but at the same time is what I understand now at 48, you can raise good human beings in a single parent home. And I even though I say I'm a single parent, my children still see their dad every other weekend, every holiday. So I don't consider myself as a single parent like that. They just had 2 households they lived in. I'm glad
you asked that, because that was going to come back to the next question. Just across the board, and we could touch base on this real quick. So again, because this is the echo chamber I hear, because I know reality. Everything's not 100% guaranteed.
Yes. Yes.
You're living proof of that.
Yes.
TC's living proof of that. Chef is an advocate for this. Like, I hear him speak all the time. I'm like, this is a dude got a third eye other people don't see. Wes is an advocate. Same thing, Rob. The world itself, free thinkers.
Yeah.
Free thinkers, that understands this. So with that being said, why do we feel like what do we think or believe why most of us fail? If we have a percentage of what everybody say, hey, this is the go-to, this is, have the 2-parents household, have the nuclear family, but we know realistically it's not 100%. So what makes those fail? Because I think Wes said it, but I want to see if everybody else caught that too.
Well, look, my parents raised 7 kids. We got a criminal in our family. So if mom and dad raised 7 kids and one of the kids went stray, it's still you had a 2-parent home and you had a loving home. Don't necessarily mean you're gonna be a good citizen of the United States. You're gonna be a good person. You're gonna be a good human being.
you can do all you can and raise your children, but not. Yes, I'm advocating for a 2-parent home, but the nuclear family can work too.
But I think what Grey Pill was trying
that
to
is.
focus.
Sorry, go ahead. You go ahead. I apologize.
Thank you, Chef. What Gray was trying to say is the loving aspect of it. That's all I wanted to take. Go ahead, Chef.
So what I'm saying is when Andre, when you talk about the nuclear family and they talk about both parents, that's a nuclear family. Nuclear family normally is mom, dad, normally 2 kids and maybe a dog, right? So
I'm a cat person.
all right, me too. That's funny, but let's talk about it. Let's be honest. We understand that when we talk about co-parenting, which is the cooperative. Once you put that means it's more than one entity working together. Cooperation, commingling, compromise, all of those things involve another entity, more than one entity working together. So at the end of the day, we don't have to think about opinion. We don't have to think about what this group says, what that group says, what this color pill, that color pill, conservative, liberal. It doesn't matter. In terms of the blessings that makes co-parenting and that makes the 2-parent household works, there's a higher propensity for success within the child. Why? Because you have both entities responsible for their collective growth working together, which means that even when this guy, Johnny, hates his baby mother, Jennifer, but they both agree on a particular thing for little Jamal, a little, a little Michaela, right? When they agree, that's almost like that's the after relationship equivalent of Jenny and the mother and the dad having sex. Why? Because they're never going to be together again. But that was the point where they were both able to come together. And if one might have had to compromise or acquiesce to the other's will, but understanding it was both done for that child, that's what makes it important. And that's why being in a relationship or having a child within the 2-parent household, it doesn't mean that the parents are gonna work together forever. But that child has a portion of the time in their life where these 2 people created a unified front and worked together. If daddy disagreed, I gave an example in that show where I got a 6-year-old. Her mom wanted to get her violin stuff. And I'm like, and I'm a music guy, and I'm saying keyboard is the thing. But at some point, I acquiesced to the point where she never had a child before. And there's certain dreams, and she wants to, move a certain way. So there's certain ways that I will acquiesce and certain ways that I would bend, because I know it's not just for us raising my child, but it's also for me allowing the mother of that child to have the experience. Even if it's failure, it's okay. Because her experiencing failure that I've experienced before, it allows us to pick up and move forward. So I do believe that the 2-parent household works, even if dad has bullshit about him. We all got bullshit about us, right? But the thing is, the kids pick up. You ever see the kids that have parents that drank and smoke cigarettes and smoke weed, and that kid doesn't touch any of it? All of that is by virtue of the nature and nurture, that existed within their ecosystem. But being able to have both of those pieces, it makes a difference. And it may not be the best because it may be toxic. But within the yin and yang of this universe, the child is able to still pull from that yin and yang of toxicity and understand what they don't want going forward. So in the end, a lot of times it's not about if those parents are awesome. It's about those kids recognizing how to learn in goddamn relationships. They might agree with mama on one thing in this argument, they may agree with daddy on the next. But that's the beautiful tapestry of understanding personalities, life, people, relationships. And that's the beauty. That's the beautiful choreographed dance that having two parents in the household makes, whether good or bad.
Fair enough. I'm gonna play this last one, and we'll address that, and we'll get to the buffoonery of Kim and the lifestyle. Shout out to Kim. Shout out to Kim.
I'm not capping for Kim because I really don't have a dog in a fight. But all I'm just saying is men are very insensitive about relationships. And if a woman, let me tell you, it has to be bad because we put up with a lot of crap. I mean, a lot of crap. Men are easier, and I'm saying this, 10 toes down. They're easy to leave. They're quick to go. And they don't care how many kids they got. They don't care how many households they have. So for Kim, for a woman to leave out of a relationship, to me, I felt like it had to be bad. Like something had to have happened for her to go. Because it was like he was making money. You know what I'm saying? And that's what she wants. She wants money and she wanted to be taken care of. So, like I said,
Fair enough. So, 10 toes down, Wes. Are all men are easy? Do men just say, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna leave? You made me some runny eggs. I don't care how many kids I gave you. I'm out.
Do men? You're saying do men just walk away like that?
That's the way she addressed it. So, and
Well, especially when there's kids involved, like most men don't. So I've met those men that they'll happily leave, but more often than not, men will stay for their kids. Men feel a great sense of purpose, especially when they become parents, or their girlfriend comes home and says, "Hey, guess what? I'm pregnant." Freaking that's a milestone in their own personal evolution. Something major blows up in their head. Some men break. They can't evolve or move beyond it. Other men go down the street and join the Marines because they're like, you know what? I need to man up. I don't know what else to do, so I'm just going to go join the military. And I stated earlier, like I was going to be happily miserable. I was very content being happily miserable until I realized that my children were miserable too, and I didn't want them growing up that way. The more I tried to fix things or make things better, the more new and inventive ways she found to make things horrible again. So I don't think men just walk away because something's wrong with their eggs. No, he may have gotten a little annoyed at the way you cooked his eggs, but I guarantee you there was a whole plethora of other things going on there before a man decided he needed to do something else.
fair enough. Chef, your thoughts, and then we move to ladies.
I definitely agree. And at some point, if we talk about why somebody left, naturally, if we look at the situation and say, "Hey, why did this person do something?" There'll be a guy that goes and robs a bank. There'll be a guy that goes and robs the grocery store, steals from the grocery store. There'll be somebody that picks up some money they see someone else dropped. Depending on who we are in terms of our personal accountability archetypes, we're going to look at that situation differently. But it's all going to be based on our own personal growth as well as our own personal trauma. So when we hear someone state something, we may be focusing and ingesting that information based on our own personal trauma, But in terms of what took place that night with Andrea, what she was doing was she was actually speaking up for the men. I literally made a joke in the show, and I said, "Yo, after all of this, people gonna realize you're actually a red pill conservative,
Yeah,
right?
I actually try to block my ears when I heard that part real quick.
Right. But in terms of what I say, I
Yeah.
said that was more of what I would call a hyperbolic statement, which
Right.
pushes everything to the, to a certain part of the spectrum. But what it is that what she said and the level of honesty that she utilized in stating it, she stated what she had done was wrong. She stated what she had done was wrong. And we were faced with someone that dropped into the show, who's also a friend of the show, peace to that Green Vegan, right? Great content creator. But she had popped into the show. And so when she came into the show, she was speaking more so to what she believed about what took place with men. So when she came into the argument, there was no way in her mind that Kim Kardashian was wrong and Kanye was right.
Mm.
But the thing is, what Andrea had to say was hate, because at one point people would have thought she was caping for Andrea, and Andrea had to tell her, no, listen, no, homegirl, nah, sis, I did that shit. I was wrong. I did horrible things to that man because of myself. And I went through 3.5 years of therapy in order to deal with that and understand what it was that I had done. So honestly, a lot of it has to do with us listening, but not just listening. Listening is one point. You listen. But in terms of the listening that you do, you have to factor in who you are, because who you are determines the filter that listening comes through. And if you're unable to properly, successfully, or optimally filter the information coming into your brain, you're just getting fed with a whole bunch of shit. So it's about filtering and understanding knowing who you are, so that when you hear a certain thing, just like I know, Chef, you could give Chef 5 Jolly Ranchers and he'll eat them. The sour green apple joints, the cherry joints, those are his favorites. But then you happen to go and take you 5 Jolly Ranchers, the same one, but you're diabetic. It's a little different. It could kill you. So the thing is, we have to filter out all of our personal iniquities, understandings, traumas, and all of that, and nature versus nurture understanding, in order to know and process what we're hearing, in order to make an optimal response to it.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I feel like I was talking forever.
Nah, you're good, man. You're dropping some. You have a great perspective from another guy, so I appreciate that. TC, your thoughts on that?
So I want to refer back to Raw B. Raw B has a wonderful channel, and one of her, I guess one of her seasons, she talked about or she dealt with the paternity court, marriage court?
Yes.
Was that right?
Yeah.
Right. And it was that was absolutely funny. At the same time, it was very interesting. Okay, paternity court. Are you the father? Marriage court. Do y'all really need to stay married? Type of thing. So here's my thing. Men and women. I am not in the blame game. We are all accountable for our issues. Every last one of us. Black, white, polka dot, pinstripe, with man, woman. It's not any one more, less, more, less, less. Everybody is accountable for the ish. So these sessions that Raw did some commentary on, you do see that there are quite a few people who are willing to walk away and say, all right, bump it. Good. That's not my child. DNA test and all. I don't care. And it still goes on. And we see some people, when they find out that they're not the father, how devastated they were.
Mm-hmm.
We see social media has exposed us to a myriad of different examples and scenarios. If anybody can say it is more over here than over there, God bless America. Let freedom reign. God bless them. Good. I'd like to see those. But I'm here to say that each and every one of us need to stand in it, and that's why I applaud just Andrea, because she stood in hers. She stood in hers, and I would hope that every man and woman, mother and father, will look at her situation and say, "Wow, yes, she took accountability. She is owning up to her stuff, not using it as this is one against the other. No, this is one, and there should be more. There should be more, plus, 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 and more people that are going to do what just Andrea has done."
Yeah.
So and as male, female, white people, black people, Asian people, Puerto Rican, Dominican, I'll give a daggone, all Haitian, whatever, African, European, Ecuadorian, all of them. Everybody got their own cultural blase to the blase. And everybody needs a reset. Everybody needs to be checked on some of these old antiquated ways and thought patterns that they think are, that haven't done us any good at
Yeah.
all. Not at all. And it just kept people under a boot, if you will. You see, we're not doing that anymore. And I guarantee you this one thing for certain, and two for sure. If you don't want to step up to the plate and take accountability for your part, and I mean when I say your, anybody, guess what's going to happen? The universe has a way of getting rid of what is not needed and what is not necessary.
Yes.
I'll put it to you that way.
Homeostasis. The
Okay.
natural equilibrium that the ecosystem or the universe provides to right what is wrong, which is the natural impetus or precipitating factor for the yin and yang of life. Why do our bodies work the way that they work? Why you got black bears in a certain part of the country? Why do you got brown bears, and then you go to Antarctica or North Pole and you see white polar bears?
And guess what? Nowadays, you'll see white polar bears in some areas. You're like, how did they get here? You'll see you'll see dark bears in colder climates. So you're gonna see this very interesting new dynamic of. You'll see the animal kingdom, and then of course you know that if we're the stewards, we better be paying attention, because we're next. We're next on the chopping block. So I'm just saying thank you for having this type of discussion once again, Grey Pill, because we need this. Chef and just Andrea did a wonderful job when they first had this conversation, and it was just so organic and authentic, and it was a lot of going back and forth, but still we made it. They made it through. And then we got to Sincere, and she, took it to another level. Then we got here. So thank you. I want to say shout out to Sincere Saida, because she's awesome. She does a whole lot, and she's always very much in support. But these are the conversations, Sincere, that are needed to be had. That the Raws, the Grey Pills, chefs, just Andrea have been having. And now we have Sincere, and we have a plethora of other people. I don't know, West, are you a content creator, sir?
Not these days.
Okay, that's cool. Neither am I.
I pop up on all these types of panels, though.
I understand you're a panel whore. I get it. We're good. But the bottom line is it's okay. But thank God for all of this.
You just called that man a hoe.
Yeah,
y'all trying to fix us brothers.
I'm all about. I love great conversation where people are really trying to discuss things, and and actually trying to not necessarily solve a problem, but we're trying to talk about things that are concerned. We're learning how to communicate again as a society, and we're doing it in
Yes.
small form. This is the new public square, and this really needs to grow. I want to see more people participate in it because for like half a generation, nobody's talked about shit, and we've suffered from it.
Mm.
Right.
And one last thing, Great Pill. One last thing, and I will, I'll digress. We
Mhm.
were all excited, and I know you were very much excited because you, just Andrea, had offered, an invitation to you, to Classic, and to Sincere, and we were all excited because I know what you give because of Raw. You know what I'm saying? I know what Sincere and Classic give because of Sincere. We were all excited about having this conversation, and I am just disappointed because I know that Classic has so much to offer,
Yeah,
and we
we
need to, like Wes said, we need to have this conversation and not throw out judgment. We need to be able to communicate with each other and see each other for, yes, we all are going to make mistakes. Perfection is reserved for God.
yeah.
However, we can have a community. We can communicate with each other and do better by each other. So thank you.
No, you're absolutely welcome. I agree with you. If anybody more judgmental on this podcast is me or myself, Robbie and the other people that I associate with, they know this. Half the time, Robbie pretty much just say it, and I just be looking like, yeah, she's right, but I'll still like, I'll I pretty much think twice on the topics because I we already know as content creators, Chef definitely knows. When you go for that trend, the numbers spike up, the views come, the shenanigans come. So a lot of topics and trends I have to kind of think about twice. I do have to thank Sincere again because me coming on her panel, this gave the idea for the conversation. So that's pretty much what started it. But when y'all guys was like, "Hey, watch her stream," and I said, "Okay, she's just gonna talk about Kim. She's gonna talk about Kim," and I came there. It was a roller coaster for the like I told Jess and Chef. It was like the best show I ever watched because beginning I picked out a villain, I picked out a vigilante, I picked out a hero, but overall it was only one person who was the hero, and that was Jess Andrea because she learned something through her journey from the beginning to the end. I really didn't hear say it was more of a me journey. It wasn't like, hey, my friends uplift me. These people came together. It was like, hey, I need to figure out something for myself. Or, like Chef said, a full circle going to come where you're going to lose it all. And she was seeing, and this is how I was seeing it. Just the conversation was unfolding was you was recognizing things that was going to slip away from you. In your circle and the stuff that you love dearly was number one was the kids. Because that's last, and you had to make a choice. Like, hey, I need to do better for myself, which everybody's supposed to do. We're not all perfect, but when we make certain mistakes, some people either too hard headed to hear it. But if somebody kind of whisper in your ear a little bit, you have those other people like, okay, that's a whisper. Let me think on that. Let me process it. Is they right? Does it sound like me? Okay, cool. I can move forward. I'm that type of person. I might have Ross say some stuff, like, and I'll just use some dumb shenanigans. She know I got a pet peeve about thumbnails. I love great thumbnails. I might take a whole hour. Robbie coming up like a thumbnail real quick and she'll look at me like, you ain't done yet? And I'm like, yeah, I just need the little touches here. That is my thing. That is me. But, people just need to just look at themselves, just take the time out and just take a moment to breathe. If you know you, like you say you know you, step back, adjust it for a minute, and then move forward. That's it. But here at the Great Pill Podcast, I'm always about free thinkers, very hearing perspectives all across the board. Gray, green, purple, yellow, I do not care because what happens is I don't see it that often on the comments. I would love for them to be in the comments, but it don't happen the way you want it to. But I'll either get an email or two, I get a DM or two, and then they'll bring their thoughts out there privately. And I'm like, all right, well, I can live with that. And I'm fine with it. So I think everybody should definitely come up with a conversation. I definitely thank y'all for giving me perspective. 'Cause again, I'm human too. I don't know every daggone thing. Hell, that's why half the time I reach out to Wes and other people because I know they're qualified. I don't have those degree engineers, and I haven't served the country. I literally say I'm broke and busy, and somehow I get ridiculed for something else, and it's all good. I appreciate it still. But since we move forward with that,
And I did this video, hopefully it would help somebody. I did the video, but it would help somebody because I didn't really have anybody. Like pretty much when I was going through the co-parenting, I didn't have a lot of friends who was they were still married, and now they're getting divorced. So I felt like in my group of my friends, I was the first person getting divorced. I was the first person who had to do the co-parenting. So I feel like for me, I was trial and error, and in my friends, they can see what happened for me. They could do better, and we have a conversation about that. So I hope the video can help parents. And I say this: being a co-parent, it don't matter what color you are, what race you are, or how much money you have. It still can be a bitch. I'm sorry to say, it still can be difficult.
Yeah, that's fair to say, and I'll even say just lead by example too. I got buddies that's married 10 plus years, and I will gravitate toward them because in my eyes they're the ones in a whole different success rate than me. Right? It's not about the money. It might be how the love, like Wes said, the loving family, or the consistency, the dynamics. I hear so many stories like, "Hey, we was broke." We was both broke. We was laughing. Our lights was off. We was burning candles. And 10 years now, we sitting there laughing at it. Those are stories I hear from real married people, from consistent relationships. So that's pretty much what I hear all the time. So trust me, if I got the message, just there would be a person that gets it. And no disrespect to the other person that TC mentioned, but if they don't get it, I don't beat on dead horse. I just don't, TC. Yeah, we'll do it. You can tell when some people don't, the wheels don't catch. For most people, it's like, hey, you know what? Let them fly. Let them fly. So that one, we'll get the shenanigans with Kim. So let me share this real quick.
I'll be honest. I think you, even when you were attacked, or maybe I don't know if attacked, or if you've ever felt attacked, or maybe accused of things. You haven't?
All the time.
Yeah, all the time. Just recently, actually, again.
All the time.
All the time. Is it a conscious thing to not talk about it, or to I don't know. I feel like, and this could just be my assumption, is that you protect your kid.
I definitely protected him, and I still will, in the eyes of my kids, or my kids. So in my home, my kids don't know anything that goes on the outside world, and I've managed.
How do you do that?
I've managed to. I'm holding on by a thread. I know I'm like so close to that not happening, but while it's still that way, I will protect that to the end of the earth as long as I can. Like I will. I mean, my kids, they don't know anything.
How?
So
with social, they're in school, they're on social.
So at school, like one of my best friends are the teachers. So I know what goes on at recess. I know what goes on at lunchtime. I hear what's being talked about. None of the kids have ever said anything to my kids.
Wow.
Social media. My kids aren't. North has a TikTok account on my phone and my phone only. They're just not on social media. They don't see stuff. I keep, when stuff's going down, like I protect stuff in the house as far as like the TVs and the content
That
that's
feels
on.
like it must be a full-time job.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But worth it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, worth it because I think that, of course, I want to disassociate in specific thoughts and things being said because that's not me. But at the same time, in my home, like I could be going through something, but if we're riding to school and they want to listen to their dad's music, no matter what we're going through, and no matter what is happening in the world, like I have to have that, smile on my face and blast his music and sing along with my kids and act like nothing's wrong. As soon as I drop them off, I can have a good cry or, text back and do what I got to do. But it's like, I had the best dad. I don't want to get emotional.
Oh,
It's just been a day for me. But like,
it's been a time.
it has been,
Mhm.
you know, it's hard. Shit is like co-parenting. It's really fucking hard,
Mhm.
you know? And like,
You're not co-parenting with just anyone.
yeah.
For the quietest, easiest.
But I had the best dad and I had the best memories and the greatest experience. And that's all I want for my kids. As long as they can have that, that's what I would want for them, you know? So like, if they don't know things that are being said or what's happening in the world, like, why would I ever bring that energy to them? You know, that's like
Do they
real
look-
heavy,
do they-
heavy grown-up shit that they're not ready to like deal with.
Yeah.
You know, and when they are, we'll have those conversations. But like, and I'll be so prepared. But until then, I'll do anything to like keep their life as normal as possible. You know?
They don't have a normal business.
Jesus. Can I go first, please? I got stuff to say.
I just want to say good night to everybody. I have to go. Thank you so much. And I appreciate everybody. Have a safe and happy, prosperous New Year. Happy Kwanzaa.
Peace,
Happy
love, and light.
Kwanzaa.
Yes, happy Kwanzaa. Thank you, Chef. Thank you, Wes. Thank you, Red Pill Raw. My boo. Just Andrea. Be good. Just Andrea.
You need to say that raw. You need to say that raw.
No, I'm always good.
You be having nunchucks. Don't even do knives. Raw so good with it. She only have knives when she have nunchucks. Just be going in.
I'm just saying, y'all already know what to give. I'm not playing with y'all.
All right, so about Kim. So, all right, because I was taking notes. She said that she was attacked. She says that she was protecting Kanye. Some other stuff. Shout out to Peace Love. She made a comment. She says, I commend her. Kanye has serious mental and impulsive issues. I'm going to be on the opposite side of it. All right. I believe with the history of Kim Kardashian and her family, with her mother that was giving her triple rated X tips and tactics how to sell herself. I think that the family and her has mental problems. Ye did not really have mental problems, and of course, Peace, you're more than welcome to join the stage for that argument to add on to conversation. I know you well enough, so the link will always be welcome for you to come up to add that commentary. But this is what I believe, so that's my argument. What do we say?
I agree. I fully agree. Let me just land this one real quick. I fully agree, because she speaks to the times that she's protected Ye. Yes, she's protected Ye. Now I'm gonna say something that may be hyperbolic, but oh well. It's Great Pill Podcast channel.
Not hyperbolic.
Think about it like this. Part of hyperbolic words that are used, to evoke emotion, heavy-handed words, right? So let's say this. When you say that, when she says yes, she protected him, somebody on the antithetical side would say, well, shit, yeah, a pimp also protects his hoes. Which means that, you understand? He was a part of that machine. If you recognize, the majority of the men she was with were managed by the Kardashian family and Kris Kardashian. So it's a utilitarian kind of mindset that I believe that they have. Kim has been married 3 times. Okay. And at this point, when she speaks to what she did for her husband, to me, especially if everything within their life has been their lives have been televised and put on TV, then maybe that was just part of the script. A pimp
Not
is
part of
always
this.
going to protect his hoe. That's why the hoes get protection. Or pardon me, ladies. I don't mean 304s. I mean women of ill repute, ladies of the street, right? And
I,
they work easy when they have that pimp protecting them in certain ways that they don't realize, managing their money, getting them more work, all of these different things. So I don't believe it was her compromise or being a sacrificial lamb within this dynamic. That was part of her system. Just me.
But this the
hold
thing.
on,
Is there really a difference between a
hold on.
304 and a hoe?
Yes, yes, I believe so, Chef. Well, she's addressed that to you, Chef. So, is there a difference between a 304 and the actual guarding tool that roams the streets at night? One
Or
leg up. Shout out to One Leg Up.
Yeah, so in terms of the term itself, I'll say this. When I used that specific dynamic, I was speaking, let's just say a pimp and a prostitute, right? But I didn't want to, turn this into where we're calling women hoes and stating, delineating what it is that makes this person a hoe versus that person being a hoe, because it's a heavy conversation that involves personal nature versus nurture, right? But in terms of that situation, I was just being, once again, hyperbolic and calling Kanye the hoe and calling her the pimp, because she stated that she was protecting him. Wow. And so that was just me pretty much utilizing that joke to say, were you protecting him or were you keeping him where you needed him in order to be able to extract whatever it was that you were able to extract within that period of time?
Fair enough.
So that was my slick way of saying, I don't know. He might have been the one getting hustled. So were you protecting him or were you protecting your own personal hustle?
Fair enough. Wes, so from what you've seen so far, what's your thoughts on that?
I think you're right on the money there. The Kardashians have been mainly like Kim Kardashian and her mother. A lot of this stuff has been planned. They know how to. They know how to play the public. She knows how to play the victim. I feel so victimized with access to billions of dollars. Ooh. It probably is difficult having. I don't think she feels any remorse leaving him. I don't think she feels anything at all. She may have some sort of affection towards her children, but who does she rebound with when she divorced him? Friggin' stupid ass Pete Davidson.
Yeah, it was a 8-9 month relationship, and even he, when the relationship ended, he was actually out loud saying like, she played me too. He was on a Me Too movement.
Yeah, that's what she does. She uses men for what she needs them at the time. And Kanye got too old. She wanted to. She's doing that thing where she wants to feel young again. Look at how much money they put into surgeries and Botox and chemicals so they can stay looking young. She wanted someone else with a different type of clout, a younger clout, and just a younger person. She's that type of vampire.
It's funny you said that, because in terms of conversations Andrea and I had about the whole situation, I pretty much simplified it. And I'm one of those guys that always wants to peel back the million layers to the onion and all of that shit. But honestly, in this situation, it was simple. Anybody who's a lawyer, anybody that understands divorce and all of that, right? Alimony, child support. He was at that point where he had been married to her long enough and had enough children that at this point, and he was married to her for a certain amount of time, she doesn't have to worry about going through a long ass, drawn out court battle. Because at this point, considering the fact that she's born, that 4 of his legitimate children have traveled through her birth canal, right? and they were married, and they existed within Calabasas, California. At this point, she doesn't have to stick around. And that's the same argument that I gave when Andre and I had the argument about Tom and Giselle. I said, I don't believe it has anything to do with him wanting to continue playing ball. It's the fact that they have been married 10 years or more and they have a child together. And at this point, she doesn't have to stick around in order to get what she wants to get.
Jess and Robbie, what's your thoughts? We'll go with Jess.
That's some fake ass tears she's crying. Okay, let's gotta tell the truth. She's lying. Okay, she's lying.
Hold on. You chopping up, you sound like a little munchkin. You're chopping up, you sound like a munchkin.
I feel like she is lying. I feel like her tears are fake. And
Andre, you might need to log out and come back in. It got you speeding up. You sound like a chipmunk, fam.
Yeah. Okay. Robbie, your thoughts?
Honestly, Kim Kardashian is trash. Yeah, that's in a nutshell. She's trash. I agree with Chef. After you have a couple kids and you reach that certain threshold of time, that's all that's all you got to do if you're just in it for the money. But shout out to all the high value men that make their relationships transactional. You want your relationship to be about your money. So that's what it is. Good luck to you. After 10 years, I hope you still have the same amount of money to be able to pay off the old one and purchase a new wife. That's all.
Or Chef's theory, find you another bottom B and then pimp that one out too.
Right, but either way, you still got to be able to pay for the old one because the old one's going to take all your money.
Hey, Chef, you know what was messed up though? And I thought about Dave Chappelle when he's quoting the story for this book. And no disrespect to Kim, but she could have recycled, Kanye as the bottom B and then got an extra 500 miles off of it. I don't know why she didn't do that.
Hey, Rihanna, because he started going too far to the left. That's why. He started getting into the conspiracy theories. He started doing too much. Like the fact that she got those Yeezys to sell is amazing because those are some of the ugliest clothes I've ever seen. Those are some of the ugliest shoes I've ever seen. It's not really a great brand. But this is a vagina that turned into a brand, 20 years on E from her vagina. Listen, that's a bad chick right there.
They was together that long?
No, Keeping Up with the Kardashians has been featured on E! Entertainment Network for 20 years, and all of that was spawned off of her sex tape. Kim Kardashian is that chick.
That's crazy.
How is she still relevant? That's why she got divorced and went to Pete Davidson. That's more to the point I was making earlier. She was seeking a younger clout, a younger crowd. She feels the irrelevance, dominating her. Dominators. Yeah, go ahead, Chief.
And she douches with aloe vera.
You so silly, Jeff. I'm not playing with you. And her and the whole family is switching off of the hip hop culture. If you pay attention to how they're moving right now, they're switching back into the Caucasian country western pop culture movement. They're off of hip hop. All of them have dyed their hair some shade of blonde. They're all making sure they're getting super thin and sculpted. They're eating their celery and peanut butter. They're speaking very, very clearly and pronouncing and enunciating each letter because they about to step up to a different level of money. He's a billionaire. She's a billionaire. They have all of this sponsorship. Now she's leaving him alone. She's divesting from the hood culture. She's pulled her sisters up out of it. They have all their beautiful children, and then they're going to level up. That's it. And that's all.
Level up the country?
Level up their money.
Yeah.
Level up their bread.
A whole nother type of money.
Via country music?
Yes, country and pop culture.
I'm
telling you, she's going to be the next Kelly Clarkson. Talk about Jesus Take the Wheel. I bet money on it.
Jess?
That wasn't Kelly Clarkson.
That was Tori Kelly, right? Or something like that.
Oh, not Tori Kelly.
I'm sorry, Wes. I just like the song.
It is. I knew the name before you started throwing all these random white people names.
Do you feel attacked?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Did you move
Carrie
somewhere?
Underwood, that's the one.
Go ahead.
No, I've been in the same place. I've always.
Harry Underwood.
Okay. Go ahead, Jess.
I know. I was thinking Kim don't want to co-parent with Kanye because if she did, he have said that he didn't want their daughter on TikTok, and she just still put their daughter on TikTok. She don't want to co-parent, but I do believe she be gaslighting him. I do believe sometimes she do be triggering him.
Yes, Andrea. Boo. Your internet is saying no. Your Wi-Fi is telling us no.
I will add a suggestion that maybe General Dollar isn't the place to be. I mean, I was told that.
I agree.
No, just trying to help out the community, Ron. Just trying to help out the community.
Right.
You petty.
Oh no, but yeah, it was something else. Okay, just to add back to the context of the mental insanity of this things, right? The perfect plan, because it did start out with the flicks. She got the money. We're mentioning that entertainment was playing everything they was doing for 20 years, but all this started with just her, the mom, then her, with the tape, the contract, Ray J stepping in with his side of the conversation. But this whole time since Kim was like in her 20s, I didn't hear anything about Kanye West going through these mental gymnastics and hoops and doing all the crazy shenanigans. If anything, he was talking about always preaching about saving the world, but people was calling him crazy. He was telling people, hey, be more than what you are. If society and people tell you can't do, no, you're going to be 3 times better than what they say you are, and don't even listen to them. That was his whole talking point. And now here we are. We got Kim with the flicks, with the contracts, with the media, because they even called her that, a media mogul. A media mogul. They didn't say it about Kanye. All I asked when people mention Kanye, do you like his music? It's either yes or no. I don't care about anything else. Do you like his music? No? Okay, let's move on. What do you think about Kim? Oh, I've seen her flicks. I've seen the Kardashians. Even the sisters has a history with every person they date. That's actually a conversation too, where YouTube actually was dictating. I can't remember the content creator. He's actually dictating, showing the history of each sister, who they was dating, sucking the life with the fangs out of each person. Either they became another way, hint, hint, wink, wink, or they became broke and unsuccessful, hint, hint, wink, wink, or they play in gaming style in the sports that whoever they was dating. Even now, there's so much stuff going on.
They become drug addicts.
Yes. So the Kardashians is not it. It's not it. Just so your audio.
Demons.
Yes. I believe there's a pentagram somewhere in the house. I ain't trying to find it.
Can y'all hear me now?
Oh, it's perfect now. You're perfect now.
Okay, so I'm just saying, I personally feel like Kim was the tears was fake. I personally feel like she don't want to co-parent with Kanye, and she's want to have them kids, and she don't want him to be involved, because if she really wanted him to be a father, and when he said he didn't want his daughter to be on TikTok until a certain time, she would have respected his wishes as the father. But she don't really care. She don't really want to co-parent, and she don't really want pretty much him have a say so of what the kids do at the end of the day. And I told my friend this. I said, she's gonna have them 4 kids, and she's gonna use a mental health issue of his to take the kids away from him. I booked it. I told my girlfriend, you can book it, and it came to pass. I knew what her play was. I seen it, and I don't know how. I'm just sorry, but I don't know how Kanye didn't see it. But I knew her play was what she was gonna do, and I seen it before they even got married. I said she'll spend the time being married to him, but when that prenup is in effect, and it's like 10 years or 7 years, she's gonna divorce his ass and use his mental health as a way to get the kids, and he don't have no say so.
Well, see, that goes back to what Wes was saying earlier with the earlier conversations. I really believe he was in happy bliss. Like, hey, I got the wife, I got my children. My mom is going because somebody mentioned. I think that was even on your platform. Somebody said, hey, what about his family? No, well, clearly all you saw was him and his mom. So
Yes.
that was his family. So his mom was gone. He did an album, pretty much dedicated to his mother, and he moved on the best way he knew how. And when he found this one person, they had their own family dynamic. As twisted and crazy and icky as it is, they still bond together. So he's like, hey, I want that. So most men know we're going to stick to that, and that's what he did. And so now he got, I'm, you know, you can critique my words. Lied, manipulated, bamboozled, led astray. Quoting Chef now. He was being pimped out because he was wearing. I ain't gonna lie, Chef. The more you say it now, the more I'm like, I'm believing it. Even the certain type of clothes he was wearing, the type of shoes he's wearing, that's something a pimp would do to the bottom bees. You gonna wear what I want you to wear. Man was wearing a bag. One day he wearing all plastic. Like I'm trying to figure out what he gonna be tomorrow. Now he got the whole beard thing going on. A lot of stuff going on with Yee. And now even the name. It ain't Kanye no more. He want to be addressed as Yee. Sound like
It's
some.
yay.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. It sounds like some wheat germ or something. I just added to my oatmeal.
Well, that's going to be his next product. You didn't know that?
Yeah,
Oh,
quinoa. It's quinoa West.
I swear to you, Chef, if that happens, I'm coming after you. I'm coming after you. All right. When we'll wait for just come on, so we'll get final thoughts on this with everything been said. So we'll go around the piggy boat. So again, I appreciate everybody for coming through. I really appreciate that. If you're new, hit the subscribe button, hit the likes, definitely share. Again, the link, if you don't want to share this, definitely share just Andrea's link. The link is at the bottom below. If you know anybody with a similar situation of just a mother going through some stuff and or the baby father just trying to figure things out and can't understand it, um, definitely click that link and share that conversation out because that was an eye-opener for me, Chef. It was the same thing. So it was like, ha, see, and for her to be so transparent and honest about it, and then showing her development. Because I'm not gonna lie, bro. If I would have met her in that stage, trust me, she'd have been the most hated person in my life. If I met her then, I wouldn't cared about her growth. I would have kept so far away from the old Andrea. And it's like you got to prove to me. I don't care if it's 10 years, 5 years, and I'm so glad I'm getting to meet this woman that that's showing like a beautiful spirit. So I appreciate for her for learning and moving forward with it. So, and I leave it.
Bro,
Yeah.
knowing everything that I know in terms of, what I mean, we have conversation, me, her, cool. Me, her, and my lady have conversations on the phone, on speakerphone. You get what I'm saying? And in terms of the level of honesty that she brought to the table, that's why there's a running joke where it's like, her ex-husband, I was like, man, I need to kick it with this dude, man. I owe him a beer because she broke down a whole lot. And in terms of him continuing to do what he needed to do in spite of the level of vitriol that he was receiving from her at that time, I was like, dude, shit, he's my hero because I don't think that I would have been as strong enough to do that in that time. So a lot of times we see people, when we look at people that we say heroes, or we talk about people that are great. The question is it great because they were ordinary, in extraordinary times, or is it because they were extraordinary within ordinary times? You know, and there's a big difference in understanding, knowing my depth of weakness as a person, as a human individual, and seeing what he went through, what he had gone through. Excuse me. This is the grammar. My grammar chip kicks in. Understanding what he's gone through. I had nothing but respect for him because he recognized what was going on with that person that was his wife, And in understanding that he didn't utilize it as a tool to flame or embolden anger towards her, he was just like, yeah, man, Andrea on that simple bullshit. You know what I mean? But I love her. We got 2 kids, and they co-parented. And the thing is, I love Andrea because of the depth of honesty that a lot of folks, a lot of us would not deliver the depth of honesty in terms of our personal iniquities within a relationship we may have failed
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah. With that being said, I appreciate that, man. Just Andrea, we're doing final thoughts. So it's up to you, lady, because this is technically your story.
I had to move into another room. I don't know what was going on. I had to move into another room. But
I already told you, baby girl, hit up on General Dollar. That'll hook you up real good. But this is your story. This is your story. So you get calls. If you want to go first or last with final thoughts.
I will say this: if I was Kim Kardashian best friend, I would tell her to stop gaslighting her ex-husband. I would tell her to maybe they go see a therapist so they can help communicate. And if it's some things they need to write down, and there's some things they want to negotiate. And if he has a problem with the TikTok and he don't really want his daughter, I would honestly say to be like you, lay off the social media until she's like 15 years old. Compromise a little bit. It ain't gonna kill you. It ain't gonna hurt you. But you're gaslighting him and triggering him, and I can see through your bullshit what you're doing to him, because I'm a woman too. You're doing it on purpose. So it's not fair. And you say you want him to be a father to your children. You say you had a loving father yourself, but do you really want that for your children? You should ask yourself some questions. And for me, that was my past. I'm 48 years old. I got 2 grown kids. I got a grandchild, 2 beautiful, loving people. Even through the bullshit that I put their dad through, we're still right now on good terms. And so if I could say the best thing I got out of it is going to therapy for 3 years and my therapist helping me communicate, and I had a better relationship with my ex-husband, I done it all. And I got 2 beautiful children with no criminal record and good people of the United States. I'm proud and I'm successful. That's how I feel.
That's why you're YouTube wifey number 2. Shout out to Robbie. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna keep that gossip going. Hey,
he claimed your ass.
So I tell anybody, go check out my video. Go check out the whole video. Go check it out. I hope it gives somebody else some tools to take with their co-parenting, because co-parenting is not easy. So if you guys go share it out, check it out, and give me a comment. I would love your opinion. So
Thank
that's
you.
it.
Wes, final thoughts.
Well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate you inviting me to come share my opinions. I suppose the big thing here is, when I got married to that absolutely horrible person, it's because I didn't value myself. The things that I've been learning in my own personal evolution is, before I make big decisions, I have to really sit down and figure out what's the most loving decision I can make for myself. And this is what a motivation that people should start working with, not anything else, but sit down and say, what is the most loving decision I can make for myself? Once you start figuring out how to make loving decisions for yourself and actually care about yourself, everything else falls into line. So you'll have that relationship, that very loving relationship where you produce those children in that loving household. And I'm trying to teach my children this, how to make loving decisions for themselves so that they make better decisions when they get older, when they become adults and they have to start going through this life stuff. And we all should just turn off the TV. Kim Kardashian is not important. Yeah. I was surprised to find out she's been on TV for 20 years. Like that is bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. So I guess when we're raising our kids, Don't let them watch any of that nonsense.
Fair. Raw.
I just want everybody to,
Oh, no, you sound like a
live.
munchkin.
Do I? I should
Oh, no,
have.
you sound
Yeah,
like a
you
munchkin.
sound like you at Andrea's house now.
I'm behind my VPN, so let me refresh myself real quick.
Okay. All right. While you doing that? Are you okay? All right. While she's doing that, I'll give my final thoughts. Give her time to come back in. So, I agree to what Wes said 100%. Just with media, it's become because originally it was supposed to be used just for a connection, you know, making friends, something positive. But unfortunately, it became a twisted being of its own. Um, Now, as far as everything else like self growth and learning and your human evolution, that's true too. Even just during these holidays, I've witnessed people that was were actually instead of just saying positive things or looking for positive outlooks or positive solutions, they was more fixated on let me talk about who the people I hate. Let me make a list of people I dislike. And I'm like, it's the holidays. Even if you don't believe in Christmas, it's the holidays. There's people out there is trying to look for, it's about family. It's about togetherness, something, we're taking time out of our hands to help out the community. Shout out to Brother Clarence. We talked about that on his page, how to help out the youth. And but we have so many toxic, negative people in this world, in the space that will go so far out their way to just keep talking about the same thing or the same person or same being over and over again. You are sick. You are mental. Even with Kim Kardashian, I don't care what nobody say. If you love her, great, but understand the consistent history of what she's doing. So what? If she's been on TV 20 years. Okay, cool. And but guess what what is she's really bringing out there? Oh, because now she wanted to become a lawyer. Does that negate everything else? No. The foundation of what she came from. Can you say you will actually be a porn star and then become successful after that and then use that and still throw yourself in media? Heck, she was 21, 24, and she literally said, I am going to be that one. Piggy tailing behind Paris Hilton just to get that clout, like Chef and somebody else was saying earlier. Got Kanye, left him with somebody else for the clout. Left him. The dude got a tattoo of her and her children on his body. He didn't come up with it all. He didn't come up with all that by himself. Like, come on, manipulation is a real thing. I've been a victim of it myself. I also been lied to. I also been led astray. I also been bamboozled. We understand this. Ra, final thoughts to you, and then we'll leave out of here.
Nah, I've been manipulated and bamboozled. Lord Jesus,
Survivor.
Run amok.
I cannot. At the end of the day, Kim Kardashian is a whole hot ghetto mess. I'm glad she's like growing or whatever, but I wish her and her children nothing but success because we don't need any more toxic adults. Other than that, that's it. And that's all.
All right, fair enough. I appreciate it, buddy. So check us out tomorrow at Lord. Let me go ahead and check the list here because we got a full great week booked. So, all right, check us out tomorrow. We're gonna have a interview for Friday, the hot topic with Mr. Ant. They be around all the spaces that know all the tea, the dirt, and whatever the traffic be coming through. So we're gonna have a great one-on-one interview with Mr. Ant. We're gonna find out the origin of the purge, what made him bring it up, what made him create it, how he got into YouTube. We're gonna have that, whatever space he's journeyed through. We're gonna have that conversation for tomorrow. We're gonna back that bad boy up for tomorrow. We're gonna have a conversation with the ladies. I invited, Wes. You're always welcome, of course. So it's gonna be a few ladies, make it even. Some ladies, some gentlemen is gonna come on for tomorrow, and we're gonna ask the basic question: what is a woman? Some people seem like they're lost. Some people seem they're confused about it. So we're gonna have that question. So we're gonna ask that tough question. Rod don't answer right now. Just Andrea don't answer right now because I know it's very difficult for y'all women. Y'all don't know the answer. So we're gonna hold that thought for tomorrow. So again, appreciate y'all. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Tune in for tomorrow. What is a woman? Friday, the interview for Ant, and Saturday. Stay tuned for next week. Stay tuned. So I will catch y'all guys later. So I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Happy holidays. Stay safe. Stay mentally healthy. If you come around any toxic, narcissistic, malevolent type of beings out there, run. I can't say it no more than that. Run.
Peace, love, and light to everyone here.
Bye bye.
That all.